Hi everybody, it's David Porter. Today, a few words about bullying and bullies. Bullies ruin kids' lives. If a typically smaller, weaker kid who is less confident, lacking in social skills, and already isolated from their peers so they don't have any allies, when a kid like that is selected for abuse, it can go on year after year, all through middle school and high school, and it starts even earlier. It starts, second, third grade, and it just escalates. Think about what this does to a young person. And bullying is different for boys versus girls. Bullying for boys tends to be more physical. Getting punched, kicked, hit, slapped, grabbed, pushed, insulted, threatened, mocked. And it is just a constant, merciless onslaught. For girls, it tends to be more social rejection and rumor spreading and cruel comments. But it's hurtful, and it produces long-term psychological effects. Kids that are bullied year after year after year can start to reach a point where they become desperate. And what does desperation look like? It could mean they start abusing drugs and alcohol in an effort just to shut down the psychological pain that they feel. Some kids are driven to suicide. Some teenagers can't see any way out. They don't see this as ever ending. Their time perspective is very different when you were a teenager versus an adult. And they are going to be they're going to be demoralized. They're going to reach a point where they feel hopeless and helpless, and they will decide horridly to end their young lives. And you have a very small percentage of kids who externalize their pain, and they go to school with a gun or with guns, and they either fire indiscriminately into their other students and teachers, or selectively target the ones that have bullied them. And it is horrid beyond description when you have an outcome like that. Bullied kids tend to draw attention to themselves. They tend to draw aggression. They tend to look like victims and act like victims. And I can already hear people saying, "You're blaming the victim with this moral, self-righteous outrage." No. Hear me out. I am not blaming the victim. All responsibility lies with the bullies, with the aggressive kids who are too immature and impulsive and who delight in tormenting other kids. The responsibility is completely on them. The responsibility is on the teachers and the principals, who do nothing but stand by and watch and mouth platitudes. The responsibility is on the parents of the bullies, who are unaware of how their kids act at school, or just deliberately blind to how awful and rotten their kids are. Because what parent wants to believe that their child is a rotten kid, a mean, cruel kid who inflicts hurt on others? What parent would want to believe that? But the truth is, every terrible, cruel, heinous, predatory individual in the world has had a mother and a father. Kids can be driven to extremes where they take their own lives, they take the lives of others, they retreat into a numb world with drugs and alcohol, or deep immersion in video games and a fantasy life that is less painful than their reality. All of these are very ineffective misguided but desperate efforts to find comfort, to find solace, to escape, to deal with it, cope with it. But here are some things that can work better. Don't look like a victim, ever. This applies to teenagers in middle school and high school. It also applies to adults, because although bullying tends to stop, or that's not quite accurate, it tends to diminish and change forms after high school. Plenty of bullying goes on in college and in the workplace. It just becomes more subtle because it can't be so direct, where someone is going to be held criminally culpable for their actions, although of course obviously people do that, or you don't want to put your own job in jeopardy. So it diminishes and it changes forms, but it's still there. And then you have, of course, your predatory violent criminals, muggers, rapists, people who enjoy inflicting hurt on other people. They're not the least bit sorry for what they do, and they actually take great pleasure in it. We're talking about malignant narcissists and sociopaths, also known as antisocials. I've discussed them in other videos. You cannot ever look weak in this world. That's my opinion. I wish that it were different, but wishing is completely pointless and futile and useless for an adult. It's pretty much is for a child as well. They don't know any better. As an adult, you need to know better. This world is a hard world. Human beings by nature are predatory. We are apex predators. Human beings have the capacity to kill any animal on Earth. And in the past, ancient man, or I should say early man, Neanderthals and the other subtypes of early humans had the capacity to kill large wild animals. Human beings are apex predators. We are the top of the food chain, and because of our ability to use weapons technology, and weapons technology could include rocks and pointy sticks, which is what was used in our prehistory. That predatory instinct, that competitive instinct, is required to a degree because of the need to survive, competition for resources. And in our modern world, that's changed to advocating for yourself and asserting yourself and not being submissive. But in a civilized society, that also means not going to the other extreme and being aggressive. So what does this come down to? Here are a few thoughts, practical behaviors that you can start doing tomorrow or today if you are being mistreated and abused and by other people, if you are being victimized. And I am not saying that if you start doing these things, you will no longer be bullied or victimized. That would be very grandiose to the point of being delusional. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there are things you can start doing immediately which can dial it back a little bit, make it just a little bit better. And these are habits you'll have to practice. And they're very straightforward. What it comes down to is, do not ever look like a victim. Don't sound like a victim. Don't act like a victim. And you will deter a great deal of potential aggression just by changing those things. What does that mean? First, stand up straight. Don't slouch. Head, neck, shoulders, back, all in a straight line when you sit or stand. You stand up straight, you are going to look more confident. You're going to look more sure of yourself, even if you're not. But here's the thing. You stand up straight, pay attention to your posture, look confident. Other people are going to start treating you differently. Strangers, people who don't know you, don't know who you are, your history, will start treating you with more respect and deference. This will make you more confident, so that you're not putting on some act and just pretending to be confident. You will actually become more confident. Look people in the eye when you speak. Do not avert your eyes. Now, don't stare aggressively. and lock eyes with someone, typically we only maintain prolonged eye contact with another person if we are going to either kill them or have sex with them. I'm not kidding. Two lovers, very passionate, will gaze deeply into each other's eyes. Two men or two women, two people who are about to engage and hurt each other will lock eyes. So don't stare aggressively at people, but maintain normal eye contact. The way I'm doing this when I'm making this video, you look away, collect your thoughts, look back. Look away, collect your thoughts, and look back. That's a normal way to maintain eye contact during a conversation. Never do this. That looks submissive. Look at someone, let your eyes slide away horizontally, or change your head position slightly and look away. But never that. Never do that. That looks submissive. That's going to mark you immediately as someone who is weak and passive and submissive if the other person is a predator. They've seen that look. They know that look. It is an instinctive look of submission. It will invite further aggression for the most part. For some predators, it's all they need. They want you to submit. There, I submitted them. I'm done. Move on. Sometimes it's all they need. For others, it's going to be an invitation for further aggression. Project your voice when you speak. Articulate speech clearly. Do not mumble or murmur. Don't shout, and you don't have to say fuck to punctuate every sentence. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying project your voice and speak articulately, pause between your words, and a lot of people, depending on their culture especially, speak with their hands. When you make natural hand gestures as you speak and you collect your thoughts, first, it can help you collect your thoughts. Secondly, it conveys power and authority and confidence. You want to project power, confidence, and authority. Other people will start treating you differently, you will start feeling differently, and that confidence will become more and more real. Try these things and see what the results are. It can make things just a little bit better. Okay. One last thought. If you're a teenager and you get a knot in your stomach Sunday afternoon at the thought of going to school, and you go to school feeling sick with tension because you know today, here we go again, you're going to get abused again. Maybe you're not going to school right now because of the COVID pandemic. Maybe you're doing Zoom classes, but you still get mistreated because you're going social media. Terrible insults and lies and threats and rumors abound. You open your email, there are 300 emails on there from people threatening you or spreading rumors or just being shitty to you. You are going to be, that's another form of bullying, another form of victimization. It doesn't have to be face-to-face. It can definitely be done remotely. It can leave you, like I said, feeling pretty bad, feeling demoralized, feeling hopeless. So please don't do anything crazy, okay? Whoever you are, whoever's watching this, that's in this situation, don't hurt yourself. Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. Because this will get better. It will. There are things you can do to make it better. This is a temporary situation where even if you don't do anything, the frequency of it, the intensity of it will diminish just as you move past the middle school and high school years. If you're thinking of harming yourself, don't. I hope you have at least one trusted adult in your life that you can go to and speak to about what you're experiencing, what you're feeling. If you are thinking of doing something crazy, like going to school and hurting other people, don't do it. You will ruin your life. I know a lot of kids who do that take their own lives in the process, but don't take it there. If you're listening to this today, you haven't done it yet, step back from the brink. Don't take it there. It doesn't have to be this way. You have other choices. Even if it doesn't feel that way, you have many other choices and options than doing something extreme. If you are getting involved with using drugs and alcohol for false, counterfeit comfort, talk to a trusted adult. There are so many treatment options available for substance use. If you're at a place where you've been doing it and you want to stop and you can't because chemical substances, psychoactive drugs are addictive. They're rewarding. They're very compelling to reuse. And you may even get to the point where you don't want them, but you still have the compulsion to use. 3 main features of addiction. High tolerance. You can use a lot of the substance. Withdrawal. You feel physically sick or psychologically disturbed when you stop. And compulsive use. Despite consequences due to the use of substances, you can't stop. It calls you. You can't keep away from it. You keep going back for more. Talk to a trusted adult. Do not self-destruct because other people are shitty to you and cruel to you. Instead, get stronger. Get stronger mentally. Get stronger physically. And just do things to take good care of yourself. Don't do anything to hurt yourself. All right. Those are just a few of my thoughts on a very complex topic. Thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe and be safe.